Family, come on in. Monday Madness. You know how we do on Mondays. I am your host, Paul. Say hi, Paul, whether it's now or in the replay. Thank you for coming on to this live or in the replay. Thank you for coming on as you usually do and supporting and looking at these videos. I do appreciate it. And so if you're coming on in, just come on and like as well. And so you know how we do Monday Madness because we go crazy for all things travel. Yes, travels with PMB. And so there's some things I want to go over, talk to you about, get your input on as well. And so I am looking forward to having a great discussion with you this evening. And so, some of the things that we had last week, we spoke about is bigger, better. And so, we spoke about is bigger, better. And in speaking about is bigger, better, I decided to do a survey. And I decided to do a survey. And in this survey, I just asked the question about whether it is better to, if you decided to pick a cruise based upon the ship, is bigger, better, or based upon the destination. And so I asked the question, is it better to pick a ship based upon, just looking for something here. Let me look at it real quick. Is it better to pick a ship, or do you pick a ship based upon the ship bigger is better or on the destination? And so before I say what the results are, can somebody say what the results are? What do you think the results are? Because last week in the wrap up, for my opinion, so after this survey, I was kind of shocked by the results. So if you're just coming on, I did a survey based upon, do you pick a cruise based upon the ship, bigger is better, or the destination? And so I did this survey, and I said I was going to do this survey from last week. And so just can you guess what the survey results were? I'm going to go over it shortly. And I kind of said last week that I don't want to do it based upon the ship because I got to the point in travel that I want to just be able to do it based upon the destination. So I want to go to different places that I've never been to before. And so I'm not going to do it based upon and pick a cruise based upon just the size of the ship, because there may be places that I do not go to or want to go to, and those bigger ships do not go. So in my results, surprisingly, it was 50 to 50. And so 50% said that they choose their cruise based upon the type of ship, bigger, better, and 50% is based upon the destination. And so it's really for those individuals that may be travel agents, it's really kind of good to know that information, that people can go either way, whether it's based upon the destination. There is a segment of the population that want a newer ship, that don't want those older ships. And so there's a segment of people who travel that they don't want something that's 20 something years old. They want something that's newer. They don't want something that has more amenities. Thank you for coming on. All those that's coming on, just say hi, Paul. Just let me know that you're here. And so it's really good to know those results. That is 50 to 50. I'm going to start doing some more surveys because it's really, really good to see what people are thinking about when it comes to these kind of questions that we talk about on these lives. And so I'm going to do something next week. I want to bring somebody on. So I was supposed to do it this week, but they were not feeling well. I want to bring somebody on that I went on with the Carnival Legends so we can discuss it. So a lot of time in these vlogs, you get only my opinion of what I thought about the food, what I thought about the ship in general. I did a review about Carnival Legend, and then you get to see what my opinion is based upon the tours and things of that nature. And so, if you've ever seen some of my other videos, sometimes I'll bring other people in my videos, like my sister. And so we will talk about the food or whatever it is. And so you can kind of get more than one person's opinion about something. So next week, just stay tuned for that. We're just going to talk about this Carnival Legend. We're going to talk about this UK cruise. I'm really kind of trying to prompt you and trying to get you to the point where you say, like, I want to go on a cruise like that. And because I thought it was a phenomenal cruise. And so I'm just stay tuned for that. Last week was kind of the end of the Carnival Legend series in general, in terms of the fact that it was I just did the I did the wrap up, and then this week is going to be just something completely different. Last week I just did the room review of the hotel that I stayed in after I came back from the cruise. And so this week I went to Delaware for 2 weeks, and it's going to be this week. I'm putting on my channel some room reviews of Delaware, the hotels that I stayed in Delaware. And I really loved one of them exceptionally more than the other. Not saying that the other one was a dump, and so that's what's happening going forward. So stay tuned. I'm really anticipating having that conversation, and going forward, I think I want to do some more collabs and maybe speak to more people about different things, and maybe bring some other people on. Like next month, I did say that I am going on the Sun Princess, and my sister's going on beyond that. And so maybe I could bring her on and kind of get her opinion about the ship, the food, the experiences, on top of maybe having her in one of the vlogs or something of that nature. So stay tuned for these things. Also, let's go over some cruise news. So one of the things that I want to kind of start doing on these lives is just kind of talk about some of the things that's happening in cruising. If there's something else that's happening, even in a resort that I heard about, something shutting down, something that's new, there's something that's fresh. I want to just be able to like kind of bring it to your attention, and so therefore we go forward. So think of it sometimes as a wrap up, and then sometimes I will go forward into some further information that you should know about. And so let's talk about Carnival. Those individuals that love Carnival, let us talk about Carnival. I have sailed on Carnival the most out of any cruise ship. Um, and so, even though some people have some negative things to say about carnivals, some people say some negative things about, it's a ghetto ship or whatever it is that they are saying. But I have been on Carnival many times, and so let's talk about Carnival first. And so, for Carnival Vista is back in service after repairs, with engine issues where a cruise had to be canceled. And so, unfortunately, there was a cruise that had to be canceled. There were some issues, and so this Vista class, even though Vista class is one of my favorite. Thank you for coming on. All that's coming on, just say your name, just say hi, Paul. Let me know that you're here. And so Vista class is one of my favorite class of ships for Carnival. Unfortunately, I've been hearing a lot of things with the engine or engine problems not being able to accelerate like it should. And so it's being a common theme going on with the Vista class ships. And so, unfortunately, somebody's cruise had to be canceled because they had to take Carnival Vista in back to be repaired. And so, my question is, would you feel nervous going on a ship right after you know that a ship would have to be canceled? Would you be nervous of going on a cruise when you know, like just before it was canceled, nobody else was there, and so I don't know. I think I would be a little nervous because in my mind it's like maybe I would want to go on a cruise, maybe a few sailings afterwards, maybe make sure that they really fix the problem, that is not going to be something that, oh, like they have to fix something else. So another issue comes up, so I think I would be more comfortable doing sailings a few after there was some engine problems and that they had to cancel a cruise and things of that nature. So let me know in the comments, would you be comfortable right after a cruise was canceled and you know that it had to go intermediate repairs or an emergency repairs, would you feel comfortable going on a cruise right after that? And so Carnival, debuted their 2026 cruise schedule. And so for those individuals, you want to plan your cruise and you love Carnival, this is the time. Look at the schedule, see what is out there, and start planning your cruise for 2026. That's one things I love about cruising is because of the fact that you can look at a cruise as far as 2026, and then you can look at it, put down your deposit, pay down on it. And so therefore, when you finally get to that dream vacation, you don't feel overwhelmed because you've already been paying down on that cruise from now until 2026. And so if you're looking to think about, if you know something that you want to do, maybe you've exhausted what you want to do even for next year, it's time now to start looking for 2026. Start looking to see what you want to do. Maybe that cruise that you've never done before, a place you've never been on before. And so 2026, they don't have the new ships. They're coming out with new ships. So it'd have been kind of good that if they would also release those as well in terms of the new ships that they may have. So get on Carnival and start booking that new cruise. And so Carnival Luminosa is to debut in San Francisco in 2026. And so if you know Carnival Luminosa, it's just been doing cruises around Australia. And so now it's going to debut in San Francisco in 2026. So even though it's not a new ship, it may be a new ship to you. Is going to be doing Alaska and Mexico sailings. And so maybe that's a consideration. If you've never done a Mexican Riviera cruise, that is one of my favorite cruises ever that I've done. So if you've never done that, maybe try Carnival Luminosa now that it is going to be in San Francisco. Maybe you've never been to San Francisco. I've never been to San Francisco either. So maybe you've never been to San Francisco. So this is a perfect opportunity to do a cruise that you've never done before, to be on a ship that you've never been on before, and to leave from a city that you've never left from before. And so therefore, if it's San Francisco, for example, then all of a sudden now you could explore San Francisco, do some things before the ship, get on the ship, and go back home, and it'd be a great vacation. So that's some tips. That's some things that you should just look out to do. And so let's look at Norwegian. Um, been has anybody been on Norwegian? I have been on Norwegian. There's some people who would only stay on one type of ship. So just let me know in the comments if there's anybody that's ever been on Norwegian, and if you've been on Norwegian, what Norwegian class or what Norwegian ship you have been on, and did you like it? Did you not like it? It just did not do it for you? And so just let me know in the comments what you thought about it. And so Norwegian Aqua, the new NCL ship coming out next year, will debut a new musical called Revolution, paying tribute to Prince. And so that was information that just came out. And so I am going on the sailing in April 2025. And so I'm looking forward to it. I have been on Norwegian several times, and in going on Norwegian several times, I did enjoy the shows. If you've never been on Norwegian, Norwegian is known for having like Broadway type shows, and that only Broadway type shows, but they'll have other shows as well that would really that will really show not only the talents of those individuals that is on the ship and in the playlist productions and those singers and then dancers, but it will feature different artists, and it will be like phenomenal talent. And so I've been on a Norwegian ship before, and they've done Beetlejuice, for example. And so that was a Broadway play. There was another one where I've been on The Breakaway. They did Six, a Broadway play. And it was kind of great to be able to see some of these shows that I've never seen before. I've never seen it on Broadway, and to be able to come on a Norwegian ship and see it. And so this is kind of just like a show, and they're giving a tribute to Prince. And so, Prince's music's phenomenal. So, don't cut up like some. I was more of a Michael Jackson fan growing up than Prince, but I know there's some Prince die-hard fans. And so being able to go on Norwegian Aqua and seeing this, they better get it right. So they better get it right, whatever they're doing. If you're coming on, just let me know that you're here and just kind of like and comment and just say hi, Paul. And so we're just talking about all things travel and some cruise news and some follow-up from last week. And so when it comes to now the next ship, so they just announced that Norwegian is coming out with another ship in 2026 called Norwegian Luna. And one of the things that it will have, have a hybrid roller coaster and water slide combo. And this thing looks sick. I saw how it looked in the videos. They had a video of it and how it would look, and it just looked crazy. It just looked exciting. I'm not really a water sports person, but I'm almost tempted that I would try that if I go on the ship. And not only that, I was just talking earlier about booking those 2026 sailings because a lot of these cruise lines, they're starting to bring out the sailings for 2026. And so you can book the sailing now for Norwegian Luna for 2026. I was just looking at it today. I was so tempted. I almost booked it. And so if you want to go on the new Norwegian ship, if you've never been on a Norwegian ship before, you want to experience it. And so some people like to go on the ship and it's new and it's fresh. And so therefore, for those individuals that like newer ships, it's not necessarily massive. You're not going to get the massive ships like you do from Royal Caribbean, like Utopia and things of that nature. But if you want something that's new and fresh and probably unique and just different, and so go look into booking something for Norwegian Luna and get that for 2026 and get that on the wraps. And so now let's go over to Disney. So I was on Norwegian I was on Norwegian Viva this year, and my friend and I, we were talking to somebody, and they were in the elevator, and we were just talking. And as we were talking, it was just like they were saying like, "Oh, what's your favorite ship?" And she was like, "Oh, I love Disney. I love Disney." And I get so many favorable things that I hear from Disney. It's just a little expensive, but it is so favorable in terms of just the food, the experience, the entertainment. And so I love Disney. Anybody else love Disney? Let me know what you think about Disney in the comments now or in the replay. Just let me know what you think about Disney in general. Have you ever been on a Disney class ship? Just let me know also about that. So Disney changed its policy just recently, changed its policy that will only accept original state issued birth certificates at the cruise port going forward. So photocopies of birth certificates will no longer be accepted. And so I'm only thinking, it only takes a few individuals to just ruin it for everybody. I'm only thinking that some people came to the port and then the photocopy was just so blurry. And they're giving it to people say, yeah, you can't you see the name? And so I think now people are saying we need the original because we can't keep trying to decipher these photocopies that people have done of these birth certificates. And so now individuals like kids, and there's even individuals that don't have passports. And so what they will do, adults, they'll bring their birth certificates. And so now you cannot do photocopies and you'll be turned away. And so it's really interesting. You have to know the information before you go to these ports. And because if you don't know these information, you either have to look it up. You can't assume. You either just call, or if you have a travel agent, let them look it up for you, because you do not want to plan this expensive vacation, go to the port, and because you don't have the proper documentation, be turned away. And so that's why sometimes it's just kind of easier. It's so much convenient to just get your passport. What is it, 10 years that it's good for? And so once you get it, you have it, and you just show your passport, like this birth certificate and stuff like that. I know, like, if you have multiple kids, it can be very expensive, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of convenient to just be able to have it, to show it. And so therefore that that you have it. If you ever need to do international traveling, you have kids that's less than 18 years old, you have it, you're ready, you can just go. You don't have to worry about anything else, like, oh, we can't do it because you don't have passports, and then trying to get passports. My recommendation, if you know that you're going to travel now or in the future, even if it's a loop cruise, even if it's a cruise that leaves out of Miami and comes back to Miami, just get your passport. Just It's just so much more convenient than dealing with these birth certificates. And I can't remember what cruise I was on, but I was getting off the ship, and the line for those individuals that had birth certificates was massive. Some cruise, I don't know what it was about that particular cruise I was on, but the line for the birth certificates. So people, I was just strolling by, and I was like, why is this line so long? It literally was like going up the ramp around. And so, well, why is this line so long? And it was because individuals had birth certificates. And so it's like, it's just, and so when you have the passport, literally, unless there's something wrong with the system, they use the face recognition technology, and so you don't even have to show your passport. They always say keep it on you, I guess, just in case there's an issue. Then you would have to go to the guard or the security or port officer. Then after that, but if the face recognition is working and you go right through it, you're good. You're done. Like, it's so easy. And then passport, then you have to show your passport. Like, it's just so much. So I think if you're getting ready to go into travel, just invest and just get your passport, and it'll just be so much more convenient. So, Royal Caribbean news: Utopia of the Seas had intermittent power outages this past Wednesday, and so they got it fixed. Obviously, they didn't have to turn back or do anything with the cruise. But can you imagine being on a ship? And so there has been some horror stories. If you know the story about Carnival Triumph, there has been some horror stories when it came to power outages on. If you don't know about it, just look it up. Carnival Triumph, years ago, they had power outages. It was just a mess in terms of what happened on that ship. And so it was good that they were able to fix it, and they will be able to just sail on and do what they have to do. But I'm just kind of trying to imagine, you have these massive ships. The bigger the ship, then the more power you need to generate it, right? And so I'm just thinking, you have these massive ships. Could it be possible going forward that you may have some more issues with power, because you have these massive ships, all these people on these ships, especially if they're like, some of these ships, for example, Utopia, I was trying to do Utopia in November, sold out. Like, some of these ships are massive and they're sold out, or at least some of the categories. I'm not sure, but sometimes the whole ship may be sold out because so many people want to get on this ship, want to see these new ships, want to see these bigger ships, what it has to offer. And so, can you imagine that all these big ships, and then everybody's on it? How much power is needed? Everybody's plugging in outlets and multiple chargers in their rooms and everything of that nature. And so I could understand why, for whatever reason, Utopia of the Seas has some issues with power outages. And I'm just trying to think, is it something that can happen in the future? Also, car, Royal bans multiple port chargers. I don't have mine with me. And so I always use it all the time when I am on like a cruise ship. Because especially depending on the ship, sometimes they don't have enough outlets, and so a multiple port charger is so convenient. You put it into one outlet and then just plug everything into the multiple port charger for your phones or everything of that nature. And so, accordingly to Royal, they banned multiple port chargers because they said that it may be a fire issue. So I don't know if, for you to say it's a fire issue and banning something, I don't know if something happened. Maybe they didn't just haven't told everybody. Maybe something occurred. For you to say it's a fire issue and nothing, and you didn't hear anybody say anything about it. You've been using it all this time, and all of a sudden you're saying it's a fire issue. And so I don't know. Are you an individual that also use multiple port chargers? I use multiple port chargers all the time, and so I guess if I am going on Royal, I would just have to. I'm hoping that they have enough outlets on there so that I can charge up everything that I need to charge up. It's nothing like having to charge something and then, okay, then you need to charge something else. Like, if you're an individual like me, I may have my camera, that I'm charging. I'm charging my phone. I may have a tablet that I'm charging. And so having a multiple port charger is just very convenient. And I think then if that's the case, then they need to make sure going forward that they have multiple outlets all over the room. On Carnival Legend, there was even an outlet in the lamp, so kind of make use of all of the space that you have there, so people don't feel like, especially if you have more than one person in the room, like you just have to be able to make it be like that. Princess Cruise is now increasing the price of a 12 pack of water from $7 to $24. And so if you've cruised with Carnival, I have seen it happen also with Carnival. They have increased the price of their 12 packs of water to ridiculous prices. And so I'm not sure why all of a sudden that these cruise lines like Carnival and Princess has decided to raise these prices. And I used to like, and I feel like one time, Carnival used to have a 12 pack for $5 of water, and it was so economical. And I used to like that, and I could have kind of like gone away without really doing much of anything, like a soda package or anything of that nature, because of the fact that if I did like a 3 day cruise, I would be able to would get like my free big water that they would give me, and then I would have this 12 pack of water, so I would really be able to use it. And so $5 to go up to 10 to whatever it is now is just kind of really crazy. And I could only think, so I've talked about this in the video. Princess does have like all inclusive type of packages, and so I don't know if they're, so in the all-inclusive type of package, whether it be Princess Plus or Princess Premier, what they do have is that water is included. And so water is included in the package. And so when I have had the package, it's not like they nickel and dime you and only give you one water. There is a limit, so you can't just go there and say, "Can give me 12 waters." But there is a limit. I don't know. I think one time I was able to get like five or something of that nature. So they don't just give you one water, saying like, "Oh, here's your water," and that's it. And come back in another 5 minutes for another water. And so that's beneficial of it. So it's a part of the package. So I'm wondering if they're kind of doing this so people can kind of say, you know what, I might as well just get the package because it gives you so much, whether it be water, whether if you don't even drink like that, you get your virgin drinks. If you want your coffees, if you want your hot chocolates, is included in that. Whereas some drink packages is so segmented where this is not included and that is not included and this is included. And so, but like for to go from $7 to $24 for a 12 pack of water is a little bit extreme to me. It's just it didn't even go up in increments. I could say, okay, seven, okay, then you do 10, and there's really no justification. It's just kind of like this is what it's going to be. And so it's not like they're saying, okay, well, this vendor, they increased the prices, there's supply chain issues. And so that's some of the excuses that sometimes they will use when it comes to increasing prices, because they talk about supply chain issues. And just like the same issue with Carnival with the bacon situation. If you know the bacon gate, where it was like they're not giving as much bacon, every other day is bacon now in the buffet. And so it's just kind of different. So it's like supply chain issues. And so I feel like one of the things that needs to happen going forward is that, yes, they can raise prices, is up to them, but I think, like, sometimes just an explanation as to the why, because then it just feels like you're just getting greedy. The prices of the cruises have not been going down. They give discounts and stuff like that, but if you look at prices of cruises from now to especially maybe pre-pandemic, you could kind of see, like, they're probably trying to catch up on their money. And so, but if they're trying to catch up on their money, then the price of the cruise is going up. And so at least give us a break somewhere else. At least give us a little, if people want to try to get some water, just give them water at $7, $10, and now you're jacking up the price to $24 for a 12 case of water. So that is extreme. And so that is my cruise news today. Thank you so much for coming today. Is everybody have any comments about it? Just leave me a comment about anything that you want to know about. And so I want to do this cruise segment. And so next week I want to do this segment of just cruise news, let you know what's going on in cruising. If there's something else I hear about a resort or something of that nature, I'll bring that to you as well. And also, I want to be able to bring on some new ideas and have some questions and just kind of feel some answers from you as well. So, thank you for so much for coming. You can leave a comment now or in the replay. And until next week, see you then.